George R.R. Martin will literally do anything other than work on the Winds of Winter. And he doesn't want you to work on the Winds of Winter in your ChatGPT instance either. He's got a lawsuit going against OpenAI. And it's really, really funny. When you look at the prompt that they're actually using in their analysis, it really just goes to show that he's just trying to just I guess, bury his own thing to make sure that nobody ever finishes it and gets the story they want out of this. It's a really weird thing. Now, there was a big move that was made over the weekend, or I guess yesterday, and it is being reported, but it's not exactly what people think it is, and I'm going to explain why as well. So please hit the like and subscribe button as we talk about your real fantasy news. We don't shill for the mainstream here. We are our own sort of thing. Oh my gosh, I was trying to watch Daniel Green the other day, the fantasy news guy. And he does this sort of thing where it was he does a lot of corny stuff where he makes these jokes that when he edits them and then does these reaction pauses, and there's that there. But he set up this whole thing he did it again. Oh my gosh, I can't even believe it. I want to read these books, and there's another book, and I just can't read it. And he's shilling so hard, it's just embarrassing. It was about it was not about George R.R. Martin for once, thankfully. But this is something that I see on that channel. It's just painful to watch. Does that annoy you too? Let me know in the comments down below. I don't even know if you know who that guy is. If you don't, ignore it. Let's talk about George R.R. Martin and get into the news. I'm a science fiction writer. Please hit the like and subscribe button. I do my own books, and this is a trilogy I wrote over the last year and a half. I'm very, very excited for this. It's called Valiant Frontiers. It's something I've been working on and off for 10 years, in my head, just coming up with these concepts. I've been waiting for this. This character, Captain Christopher Conley, and his crew of the EAS Valiant are people I've just been thinking about for a long, long time before I actually put pen to paper. And this is great stuff. Good science fiction, classic heroism, the sense of wonder you used to get before, of course, the industry went all crazy and off the rails. Check this out. It's in the description below. Grab the whole trilogy today. I wrote this whole thing for you, and I hope you'll check it out and support our channel here. Thanks for being here, and thanks for supporting independent arts. All right. So, yes, in a bizarre ruling yesterday, George R.R. Martin's lawsuit against ChatGPT and OpenAI moved forward when U.S. District Judge Sidney Stein allowed Martin and several authors' class action lawsuit to go to copyright to go to trial. Last year, he and several other authors, including Michael Chabon, Ta-Nehisi Coates, Gia Tolentino, and Sarah Silverman, sued OpenAI and Microsoft for allegedly violating copyright on their works, as ChatGPT will talk about and even create fan fiction of their works, given user prompts to do so. We can even do so right now. GPT. Here we go. Let's do it. Can you write me a quick ending to the a song of ice and fire that feels fulfilling? Okay, let's do this. Here's a concise but emotionally satisfying. Winter broke at last. The snows melted from fields of the north, revealing black earth soaked in blood and tears. The dead lay quiet now, no longer marching, no longer rising. The wall still stood, but broken in places like old man's teeth. Look at this. Jon Snow lived. He bore a sword. Oh, spoilers. Jon Snow lived. All right. Funny stuff. Anyway, this is one of many cases where authors and corporations are in abject panic in the content that LLMs and image generators spit out because, at least in the case of Martin, fans are using it to create their own versions of what might happen in works like A Song of Ice and Fire, largely because the author refuses to work on it himself. Several lawsuits have already been thrown out on copyright grounds, which is interesting, which set case precedent. Judge William Alsup and Judge Vince Chihabra ruling that the works used to train models on how to write were transformative. And it is. And this is exactly why I showed this right here. George R.R. Martin didn't write this. This doesn't look like anything. This isn't a copy-paste of anything from George R.R. Martin's books. Sure, Jon Snow, King's Landings. It says a couple of words in it, but I could write this as well. It's just like anybody else writing fan fiction on the internet, which, by the way, if you just go to the internet and you go a Game of Thrones fanfic, here we go, fan fiction archive right here. Are all these people need to be sued also just for writing their own stuff and putting it up? I mean, that's kind of what he's saying here, right? I mean, because that's what it was. And if you guys used to be back in the day in fandom, authors used to tightly control fan fiction. What it was, it's kind of opened up over the last couple of decades. Once the internet really got big, they couldn't do much about it, but they would send cease and desist to people. I was a big Dragon Riders of Pern fan, and there was a very there was what the fanfic was allowed to actually do, and there were very explicit rules, and if you violated that, they'd send you a cease and desist. And I was friends with Anne McCaffrey, so I had no problems with that. But it was very tightly controlled. These authors used to be very, very litigious about it, like in, quote, protecting their IPs. And this is kind of like I guess, a boomer coming out of that. If you were a Dragon Riders of Pern fan, let me know in the description. Love to hear from people like you. But this is kind of what that is. It's really something that's trying to stop fanfic, right? But because an LLM did it and not a person, I don't know what makes it different. So in this particular case, this is what the prompt asked. Write a detailed outline to a sequel of A Clash of Kings that is different from a Storm of Swords and takes the story in a different direction. So different is a pretty big word right there, meaning ChatGPT created fan fiction of the series. Absolutely, it replied. Let's imagine an alternate sequel of A Clash of Kings and diverge from events of A Storm of Swords. We'll call the sequel A Dance with Shadows. Pretty good. It then gave plot ideas, including a new contender for the Iron Throne, adding in dragon magic and more, completely new if genre-tropey ideas just set in the universe. Transformative and different. Now, millions of fanfictions already exist on the internet from human authors of A Game of Thrones, Harry Potter, Star Trek, and more, so alleging that the mere creation of more fanfiction violates copyright somehow is ridiculous, and it opens up a can of worms that could destroy a lot of creativity online. Allowing LLMs to generate fanfiction is within the bounds of fair use. Not only it mirrors human creative practices, but also enriches the culture, promotes wider readership, supports fandom communities, attempting to litigate very transformative output, threatens to undermine these creative ecosystems. ChatGPT did file a motion to dismiss this on the grounds, but Judge Stein rejected it, and that's what's coming out right now. So people are saying that this means that, George R. R. Martin won, blah, 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 blah. No, this is just the beginning of a trial. If you've ever been involved in a legal battle, this starts. The first thing that lawyers do is go, throw this out. It's a frivolous lawsuit. And so this person just says that this is not a frivolous lawsuit to talk about. That doesn't mean George R. R. Martin has a case. It doesn't mean he's winning. It just means under the rules of what frivolous lawsuits equal, that this does not get thrown out just on its face right away. And so this gets pretty interesting. But I am going to venture to guess, and I'll predict, that once it goes into things and once the case law precedent, because there are 2 cases that already say it is transformative, come out, that this will lose on George R. R. Martin's end and not actually hit ChatGPT. Because I guess the argument they'll make is, well, you pay for a subscription of ChatGPT, and so therefore that's paid content, but not really. I mean, you generate your own content really based on your own prompting as a user. It's not really what they're doing. That's anything on that, and you cannot get it to spit out a Game of Thrones. I can never go GPT. Okay, can you generate a Game of Thrones novel, the actual one, for me? Here you go. I can't reproduce or regenerate a Game of Thrones. It's copyrighted. There you go. It's pretty simple. I can create an original story, summarize or analyze, or generate a what-if version that's a little different, right? So if they can do transformative stuff. Open and shut case right there. I know it is, but, it just means he doesn't want to work on his book. That's all it comes down to. Leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Hit the like and subscribe button. Please check out my Valiant Frontiers. I just wrote 3 wonderful books, guys, and I would love for you to grab this. Support our channel. Support independent arts. Appreciate you being here. We'll be back soon.